Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Now, next topic is prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So basically all the cells, they can be divided into two broad categories, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic actually it means primitive, okay, from the older times, and eukaryotic is more modern, more evolved type. So prokaryotic cell. So basically in prokaryotic cell the nucleus is absent. Nuclear region is called nucleoid. Nucleus is not surrounded by nuclear membrane. It contains one single large chromosome and the membrane bound organelles are absent. The size is smaller, 1 to 10 micrometer. Okay, look at this diagram of bacteria. This is a typical prokaryotic cell. As you can see, this is the cell wall, the cell surface. Then there is this one single intertwined long thread-like structure, which is the chromatin material. This chromatin material is not surrounded by any membrane. So if you have to draw it, you will draw it like this. This cell membrane, then outside there is a capsule which protects the bacterial cell. They have tiny thread-like structure. This is a bacterial cell which is a prokaryotic cell. Okay, one long thread-like structure which helps it is moving. Then there is one long thread-like structure which is called chromatin material. There is no membrane around it. Then there are some ribosomes and the jelly-like structure which is the cytoplasm. So they do not have any membrane-bound organelles or membrane-bound nucleus, no, which is not present. So these are prokaryotic cells. The next is the eukaryotic cell, in which the nucleus is present. Nucleus is surrounded by nuclear membrane. It contains more than one chromosomes. The membrane-bound organelles are present and it is comparatively large as compared to prokaryotic cell. The size is 5 to 100 micrometer. So typical eukaryotic cell will look like this. There is a cell membrane, there is a nucleus, inside the nucleus there are chromosomes and there are many membrane bound organelles. We'll study in detail about these organelles. So you can see these organelles are membrane bound and even the nucleus is membrane bound. So this is the main difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So the eukaryotic cell is again of two types, plant cell, which is different from the animal cell. The basic designing of plants and animals is quite different. Plants are stationary, they do not have locomotion, they cannot move from one place to another, so they need more strength, more rigidity. While on the other hand, animals have to move from one place to another, so they need more flexibility and more energy requirement. So that is why, because of this basic difference, the cell design is also different in plant and animal cell, but both are eukaryotic cells. So some important questions from the topic which I have just covered. Question number 1, who discovered cell and how? Cell was discovered by Robert Hooke while observing a thin slice of cork under a self-designed microscope. He observed honeycomb-like structure, tiny compartments, and he named them cell. Second question, why the cell is called structural and functional unit of life? Cell is called structural unit of life because all the structure of the living organisms is actually made up by a cell. Cell is the building block of living organism, and cell is able to perform certain basic functions which are required for the survival of living organism, like nutrition, respiration, excretion, transportation, etc. So that is why it is called structural and functional unit of life. Next question, how is prokaryotic cell different from eukaryotic? So I just covered this topic. In prokaryotic, one main difference is it does not contain membrane bound nucleus. The nuclear region is called nucleoid. While on the other hand, in eukaryotic cell, there is a membrane bound nucleus and membrane bound cell organelles are also present. Next question, who discovered the nucleus of the cell? Robert Brown. Who presented the cell theory? Schleiden and Schwann. Who coined the term protoplasm? Purkinje. Who stated that cells arise from pre-existing cells? It was Virchow. Then differentiate between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are composed of one cell, one single cell like amoeba, bacteria, paramecium, chlamydomonas, while multicellular organisms are made up of large number of cells. So there is division of labor in multicellular organisms which is not there in unicellular organisms, and you can give examples. Next, differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic. I just covered that. Explain the term division of labor with respect to cell. So in multicellular organisms, their body is made up of large number of cells. The group of cells, they form the tissue, and the group of tissue form the organs. So these group of tissue, they are specialized to perform certain specific function. Each cell is not supposed to perform all the function. So this is called division of labor, which makes the body of multicellular organisms more efficient. That is why their lifespan is longer as compared to unicellular. This division of labor is seen only in multicellular, not in unicellular. Because in unicellular, the body consists of only one cell. So each cell has to perform all the functions. But in multicellular, for example, the blood is responsible only for the transportation of material. Like the lining of stomach is only responsible for digestion. So likewise, each cells are divided. They have specialized function. This is division of labor.